is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 45 of the Gamers for Life podcast. I'm your host today, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, my ABXY, Arthur. What is good, man?
We're back.
We're back. We're back. Yeah. Video-wise, we're back. Had a couple of technical difficulties when it comes to the video side.
Well, I just meant our bye week.
Oh yeah. That's right. We were taking a break last week as well, enjoying the sun while it's still here and the heat while we have air conditioning.
Dude, I'm so glad I made that investment because it's like like I said, I bought my AC in February. Again, it wasn't on sale, but again, price has gone up. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm a big boy. I'll deal with the AC. I'll do the electric bill for a little bit. It's like I'd rather deal with the electric bill for like 2 months, because I don't run it every day. I just run it on those like shitty. Holy crap! I feel like I need to take like 4 cold showers today.
Right? Yeah. Where it really counts. Where you're like, holy crap! This is friggin' hot.
The humid days. Because my room gets like Because that's the other thing too, where it's like someone's like, it's not how outside. Cool, I don't sleep outside. I sleep in my room,
right,
where it gets hotter. My room's like the hottest. My room's the hottest of the apartments. Like living room, housemate's room, bathroom. They just seem so nice to walk into. Yeah. And in my room,
I always feel like having when you're inside and like it's so hot and then you walk outside, it's so cool. It's like the Truman Show, Dude, it's just like it's a whole new world. It's a whole world out there. We're fine.
Every time, just let you guys know, every time we finish recording in person, here in the studio in my apartment, we just, at least I definitely do this every time. I'll just stand outside for like 30 seconds. Yeah. Because it's like what? It's like I have the windows opening, I have the fan on. I'm facing the breeze. Could someone scientifically explain why my apartment is like way hotter than outside? I'm blocking out the sun. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff there. So, if you're watching this, welcome back. It's been about 2 weeks since we've had a new episode in the YouTube, but here we are, damn it. And if you want to check out anything regarding to Arthur managing the Twitch stream when it comes to the audio podcast as well, audio version of the podcast, I should say, or also obviously the videos, for the Gamers for Life clips and all that stuff. I would say streamerlinks.com/Gamers for Life. But streamerlinks.com has been really shitty these days. So you can go to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. That'll take you to the updated one. And you'll have all the links, appropriate to that. So again, linktree.com/Gamers for Life. It will take you there. And the 4 is the actual number if you guys aren't hit by now. So,
we have that, and we have the link tree in our Instagram as well, which I recommend checking out too, because we mentioned it before. There's like little, like let's say it's a heavy news week, we can't cover everything. It's like, hey, why didn't I talk about this? Why didn't I talk about that? Probably because we had a lot of mentions of it on our Instagram or our posts.
Exactly.
Especially us coming from a bye week. We have 2 weeks worth of news, then it's like, yeah, hey Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to. We just have to, unless we have hey, we're gone for 2 weeks. Let's have a 3-hour podcast. No.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
Check us all there.
Exactly. Yeah, check us out on the Instagram. Be sure to follow that. But then, yeah, like you said, Arthur, the link is in the bio to the same link that we're discussing as well. So definitely check that out, man. And it's kind of weird this week. It's not a crazy news week. It wasn't as terribly exciting as we've had a couple of weeks in the past, but
yeah,
some stuff has happened.
There's like the main thing we'll talk about, which is our opener. Another thing is it's been like little oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Because the only thing that I don't have extensive details on, but I did play it, was the Halo Infinite, one of the betas.
Yeah,
so I played that.
I missed. Yeah, so the Halo beta I missed, and then happening right now, is the Back 4 Blood beta.
If you pre-order it, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, I forgot I need to look into that because it's on Game Pass. So I don't think they did it. So it's I don't think they made it so it's only the beta if you pre-order it via pay.
Ah, good point.
I don't know because
are we screwed or?
Well, because I've had Game Pass for a bit. news, not news. And in the past, if a game has like say that a game has quote unquote pre-order bonuses, you would normally get those if you have the Game Pass still.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you pre-ordered it. Here's a yellow jacket. And it's like, oh, cool. They like Outriders. Remember Outriders? No. Outriders was a bad example because that was paid. Sorry, that's something else.
I paid a full $60 and you're like, yeah, Game Pass. But, son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I forget. And again, there's just been a lot of stuff, and I've been playing. I had Gamer ADD because rather I forgot about Halo and Back 4 Blood. I've been playing The Ascent. That was a game we're talking about where that's one of the few games that just real quick that actually used another game's title in its marketing. Remember it used Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
like we talked about with Preston. We talked about when Preston was here. Games rarely use another game in its marketing, like Far Cry 4-3. I forget. We said how it was literally. I think Far Cry 3. It was like literally advertised as Skyrim with guns. That was the exact marketing, and it's rare for games that use another game. And this one was marketed as top down. It was advertised as cooperative top down Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. Crazy.
So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Little bugs with servers and stuff. Nothing major, like nothing like this game's unplayable. One thing though, I can definitely tell that game was not play tested on a TV, but only tested on a monitor.
Yeah,
because has one of those weird game flaws where the font is super fucking small.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not incredibly like horrible, but as you're doing a tutorial, you're like, okay, it's gonna take me a second to read everything.
Yeah. As far as for me, I know I need to play it when I get the chance. One of these, like I said, I did play the Halo Infinite beta, and it was pretty fun. The multiplayer was fun. It's fun because it's all bots, and there's a lot of really fun things on the interwebs as far as for the bots, like how they're just like relentless, like some bots are teabagging people.
That was so funny how they program their bots to teabag.
343 gemmed. Dude, I killed you. It's like
that's. I love technology.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So that was.
If it involves a bot teabagging my stupid teammate, I'm all here for it.
So the game. So it seems like the overall populace, and then just for my feedback as well, it was fun. Nice. Graphically, to me it was fine.
Does it look polished, like the delay and stuff?
Yeah, I think it looked pretty polished. There's maybe a couple of chugs, but overall it was relatively polished. And then with the specs that I have, I thought it was looked pretty nice. Looked pretty nice. I don't have HDR enabled on my graphics card. I have to get another one if I want the Super Ease. But it played well. Upgraded my RAM and everything too. So
nice.
Pretty fluid. Yeah, pretty fluid. So looking forward to more once they release it now.
Yeah, because that was like, if you can sum up the Halo Infinite delay in like one sentence, it was delayed for polish and story to a point, story overhaul. Meaning how it went from open world to no longer open world, and then just polished. And then Back 4 Blood, one of our group members, Prime, he's been on the stream a little bit. He was saying that Back 4 Blood, which again, spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead,
right?
Fun but more difficult than Left 4 Dead, a little harder. Not crazy, but harder.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I am too. I mean and I'm hearing it. That's like, there was one article, I forgot what article it was, but it was saying that was like the most fun anyone's played with somebody all year. Good. I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's really high claim. So
why does it have to come out October? Remember big AAA games. First week of October, Far Cry 6. Second week of October, Back 4 Blood, which is on Game Pass.
Right.
And then last week of October, Battlefield 2042. And for me, I'm okay. It's like, I'm going to get it because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much love I can give it when it comes out. Again, just because I'm super hyped for Far Cry 6 and I'm super hyped for Battlefield.
Yeah.
I'm still hyped for Back 4 Blood. About if I had to pick one of the three, that I'm just gonna have to sacrifice gameplay to.
Damn.
It might be Back for Blood.
Yeah, well, at least it's on Game Pass because like I would hate to buy it and then like we're busy with 5 other games.
I mean, it's I'm like
it's Game Pass.
Again, it's not bad. It's just a shitty release schedule.
Right. It's
or I would say a crowded release schedule.
Very crowded. Very crowded, definitely. And then, of course, here on the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links of the time codes within the description of the episode, whether it be the YouTube or the audio. If you have Spotify, I know the hyperlinks are there. I can't speak to the other ones like Apple Podcasts, but the hyperlinks will be there. You can go to the different segments that you are interested in listening to, or you could just watch or listen to the whole episode, hang out with us here on the Gamers for Life podcast. And a couple of things have come up here. First thing we're going to go through, we discussed it a little bit more in length for our last episode. This is more so just updates in general, and then maybe just thoughts on what would happen in the future for the industry in general. But according to PC Gamer, we're talking about the Activision Blizzard lawsuit. Obviously, as we discussed already, California, the California Department of Fair Unemployment, sued Activision Blizzard, and there's been some news on some folks that have been skedaddling, getting kicked out. So the Blizzard, yeah, exactly. So here on PCGamer.com, this is just the head title here. It says Blizzard President J. Allen Brock departs the company, replaced by co-leads Jen O'Neill and Mike Ybarra. I think he did some work on like a Call of Duty or something. That guy sounds familiar. That name? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't like. For me, it just reminds me of that Akibaro in Japan.
Yeah. So, and then speaking of somebody else as well gone on PC Gamer, it says here, Blizzard's head of HR gone too. So I'll read this just briefly.
Yes. Wait, I hit the button.
Huh?
I want to hit the applause button.
Oh, yeah.
There's any way that should be fucking gone.
Yeah.
Is that
you guys.
HR person?
Yeah. Especially HR, because HR mainly doesn't help anybody ever.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've said before, and it's a growing trend. That's a growing trend that we've unfortunately seen. I won't go too much into it. Quick phrase: HR, it's for the company, not you.
Yeah.
But as far as employees were concerned, they felt like this HR rep was their first line of defense. Fuck them.
Right. Yeah.
And there you go.
Thank you for that. But I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk about a little bit of this, or quote a little bit of this. It said here. In quote, first reported by Bloomberg, an Activision Blizzard spokesperson confirmed to PC Gamer that Jesse Mishuk, formerly Blizzard's senior vice president of HR, is no longer with the company. Activision Blizzard did not provide more detailed timeline of when Mishuk left. Mishuk was the head Blizzard's HR department, which allegedly worked to cover up abuses and was deeply dysfunctional, according to a report by Axios. Speaking with dozens of current and former employees, the report details how Blizzard's HR department and actively shielded abusers from punishment related to complaints made against them. In one instance, a former employee named Nick Broderick said that she reported her manager after they got into a heated argument, and he refused to let her leave her desk or reach her phone, according to Broderick. Blizzard's HR representative said that the manager was not at fault in or raising an issue. Broderick said that she felt retaliated against. And quote, I wasn't given any new projects. I wasn't considered for promotion 3 years after that incident, she said, told Axios. Another employee reported a coworker who physically abusing her and said that she was met with skepticism because he, in quote, wasn't more hysterical. End quote. And that's just the icing of the disgusting fucking cake that has been spread around.
There's been so much updates. Again, we didn't want to go into discussion too much. This is more of updates because unfortunately there's a lot.
Yeah.
So that was the head. So the head of HR has stepped down. And as you mentioned, the CEO has already been. He got fired because the day one news with their CEO was he quote unquote stepped down, but then the follow up was like, no, he was fired. And then another exec that got deservedly shitty. The delivery she's gone good, which is good, is Fran Townsend. So she was the one. She was that female exec that was like, I've never seen this type of behavior. I don't know what you're talking about. And people were correctly were like, one, you're an executive. Two, you've only been with the company 4 months.
Yeah.
No shock, you haven't seen this because this was not happening. At least victim wise at the exec level. So a couple more updates because again, it's like this. It's literally a day by day thing with this.
Yeah.
So today, or if not, it was like yesterday. I forget, lose track of time. The newest updates are Coke and State Farm, which are the two biggest of the 7 sponsors of Overwatch League, have backed out. Good.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And
well, fuck it.
Yeah.
More the merrier.
Right.
When it comes to taking it down. Yeah.
And the last thing with this, it's like a new. It's been, I would say, a quote unquote discussion that's been going for a while, but the flames have definitely been fanned with this, with everything going on for here, is developers, at least here in the States, unionizing. Now, the reason I say here in the States is because, to my knowledge, Belgium, I don't know if there's any others, but Belgium studios for sure, they have unions. And so now people are talking about if developers here in the States should have a union. And the reason that this was already in its discussion before this horrible fucking story broke is because something that we've heard a lot in recent years, crunch time. So that was even before all this shit.
Yeah.
And now,
which is a very common thing in the gaming industry.
It is unfortunately becoming more and more common, even when quote unquote trusted studios say, "Hey, crunch time, we won't do that." Game comes out, and developers are like, "Oh, they said what? No, we were fucking crunched."
Yeah.
Blizzard, and again, as much as I want to say like, "Oh, fuck Blizzard, fuck this," it is unfortunately becoming a trend in the industry.
Yeah, that in general, yeah.
So that's the newest kind of, again, discussion that's being revisited from all this, and if I had to sum up in one sentence, I think there should be a union in some form, because at least when it comes to crunch time, I don't see the industry organically changing that on its own. I don't think the gaming industry, especially these AAA titles that are the consistent people that do this, I don't see them organically changing that on their own without regulation. Yeah. So that's why I think they should. Yeah.
There needs to be something to protect just the well-being of these folks working on these projects, being pressed. What also needs to stop is these people being fired after they release a project after being crunched too. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, like you said, there needs to be some type of regulation to protect those employees. With that, interesting thing. So we'll see what happens as far as development on that in the future. And then, like we talked about, it'd be nice to get someone on the show, specifically a dev, talking about like that being a good idea or not.
Yeah.
So
because we won't go into it, but unionizing it's not a small thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
moving parts,
complexities.
But that's my sum up is I don't think companies will do it organically, because again that's following quote unquote trusted companies saying we're not about that life. We don't like CD Projekt Red. Hey, I know we delayed Cyberpunk. We won't crunch. Boom, news come out. They hard crunched.
But they crunched so much.
The game crashed. The game crashed.
They released the game when they knew it wasn't done. Like
watch I know that's not the story. I know this won't be the case. Yeah. But like watch the story be like months or a year from now. Someone whistle blows. It's like, oh, actually, the reason Cyberpunk didn't work is developers were taking on purpose because they're fucking crunched. Work me 16 hours. Well, fuck you. And fucking they fuck up the source code. It's like, what's that? NPCs are supposed to have different assets, like different characters, so that when you go into a club, you don't see the same guy with the green shirt 20 times in 20 feet. Someone's
turn graphics into 1987.
I know. I've been working 20 hours today. Fuck you. They all have green shirts.
So moving on here, Yeah, I thought this was an interesting article, and this is one of your favorite folks you love talking about, Tencent. But this is kind of a funny thing as far as for like affecting them in general.
Yeah.
This is a website that I like to subscribe to their email things because they just talk about different business things in a very quirky way. But according to Morning Brew, says here on the title. It says here, Beijing calls online gaming opium for the mind, and shares of Tencent plunge more than 10%. So it says here, in quote, China's crackdown on tech companies has claimed another victim, Tencent, the owner of Riot Games and maker of Honor of Kings, the world's top grossing game in 2019 and 2020. A state-owned newspaper wrote on Tuesday that the gaming addiction in China was on the rise and labeled it as opium for the mind. The article, which deleted the reference in opium later, fueled investor fears of potential regulation and sent Tencent shares sliding more than 10% yesterday. So in China, it's pretty fucking huge for this company in general. So Tencent responded by banning all in-game purchases for minors and tightening the time limit to play on kids by spying on them. Continuing, it says here, why it matters. It says in recent months, Chinese government was intensified its scrutiny of the country's tech giants over data security and monopoly concerns. 9 of the top 10 market value losers in July are Chinese firms per Bloomberg. It says Tencent may not be a household name in the U.S., but its fingers are all over the American tech industry. Its investment stakes include 40% of Fortnite, 12% of Snap, 5% of Tesla, and 5% of Activision Blizzard, our neighbors here that we just talked about. This is bottom line. International investors burned by China's regulatory bombshells have lost more than $1 trillion this year, end quote. This is interesting just as far as like the power of... the power of journalism and how that can affect business in its entirety, but 2, shaking the tree a little bit.
Good.
That ugly fucking tree.
Yes. There's any tree that deserves to be fucking shook. 10 cents.
Yes.
And here's the thing. It's interesting they say those are the companies they have their fingers in. They forgot to mention Tencent owns Riot Games.
Yeah.
League of Legends and Valorant with the horrendous microtransactions of, oh, you want your guns blue? $120.
Yeah, I think there's even more bullet points too that could be added on here.
Oh, there's way more. They mentioned the 5% of Activision Blizzard. Yeah. Remember, Tencent bad. That's if I could just sum it up. Yes. Tencent bad.
Yeah.
Tencent no good.
Yeah.
It's like the basic Cro-Magnon, argument of Tencent bad. Tencent not good. They're a company. Yeah, like you mentioned a while back. Their company we need to watch like almost to a point like on a government level because we have mentioned this story before that broke that they were limiting the gameplay of kids, and now that the Chinese government's cracking hard on they're labeling it drugs for the brain.
Yeah.
And it being China, not to crack them too hard, is known for its harsh regulation.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely see why shareholders are like, oh, the government's about to come with a hammer. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get your money. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And one thing I was like shaking my head for when they were doing that is because they said they limited the microtransactions for kids. And I'm like, 1, how are they going to do that? And 2, I'm like, finally. Because, we mentioned before, it's like Sonic Runner. Hey, you want new fastest shoes? Kids, pay us.
Yeah.
And again, kids, and like we mentioned that one story, how it was like was it 19 billion, 20? I forget the number, but it was like a multi-billion, like microtransactions are collectively like a multi-billion dollar annual industry.
Yeah.
And a significant part of those microtransactions come from kids.
Yeah.
So that's why
I think Tencent probably just, I'm almost certain that they were just kind of running the faucet for a while then saw the regulations around the other countries and were like, let's turn
it. It's like, oh, we're regulating the kids and they can't spend as much money. That's my only like upside here. Well, okay, the upside, Tencent lost money. I'm happy with that. They lost $1 trillion. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Seriously.
And here's the thing. They're like, oh my God, $1 trillion. This is a company that from one game alone was making nearly $1 million per day from microtransactions.
Yeah.
So tell me they've lost $1 trillion this year. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, because like even to put it into context too, like I think I don't know if it was Fortnite or Epic Games. It might have been Fortnite. They were making like $300 million a month last year.
Yes.
Just nuts.
Yeah, it's. Oh yeah. That was when it came out from the trial of like they were audited. They were audited, and Tencent has a speak in that. Yeah. So again, the fact that the China is cracking down, and and Tencent's by far the near monopoly in that market. Good.
Yeah.
Now I would say, Arthur, isn't regulation bad? Yes. Regulation is normally bad unless it's for a shitty fucking company.
Yeah. Yeah, the original reason for regulation, there's a positive on that, definitely.
Yeah, if you're almost do the same copy and paste story of like, Ubisoft's limiting how much you can play games. Oh, what the fuck? But then like, oh yeah, Tencent got hit with the hammer. I'm like, good. Good.
And speaking of good, which we don't tend to have the word good and Sony in the same sentence.
Yay!
According to TheVerge.com, it seems like Sony's finally hitting a plateau or a break even, if you will. The title of this article, Sony's $499 PS5 is no longer selling at a loss. I'll give it a little love. It's a little.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
We got some wins.
Yeah, I agree.
Assholes are leaving. Assholes are getting kicked out of Blizzard. Tencent's getting fucked over. And Sony actually is making good news.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
This is a good week to come back to.
It just took 2 weeks.
I know. It just took 2 weeks of us stepping away to be like, we got some good news coming.
Yeah, maybe Sony will
There's
do
a
something
light
right.
into that shitty tunnel. That is Sony and Blizzard.
So it says here in quote, Sony's $499 PlayStation 5 console is no longer selling at a loss. Bloomberg reports that Sony's chief financial officer, Hiroki Tokoki, shared the news just a week after the company announced that it sold 10 million PS5 consoles. While the PlayStation 5 with a disc drive is no longer selling for less than the cost to produce it, the less expensive and discless $399 PS5 digital edition is probably back on track to have Sony's related losses offset by the other hardware sales like the accessory and the PS4. Sony sold 500,000 PS4 consoles in the most recent quarter, bringing lifetime sales up to an impressive 116.4 million, end quote. Pretty crazy. I'm going to give a little applause here.
Ivan.
Big man Ivan.
Housemate's back.
Nerdy Bunch founder, if you will.
Hey, I had a Pollo Loco yesterday.
Blessing us with his Pollo Loco.
Giving Arthur his chicken.
I was just saying choking his chicken. That might be bad.
No.
He is not. He's not doing that.
We're housemates, not live-in partners.
I'm glad he cleared that up. So it's like, it's okay if you are, but just clarity. Okay, get the cat out, but we'll see how she does. Yeah. So I don't think there's really much else I need to read on this, but I thought that was interesting. But as far as yes, it's good that they're no longer selling at a loss for the $499 version of the console.
Yeah.
Great. They sold 10 million units thus far. And then I read something as well that they said that they're looking to sell a lot more within the upcoming time frame. I want to say like up to 20 million units or something like that. The problem is just like the shortage. They still say, there's going to be a shortage for a while. Oh, well, we made our goal. Now we're going to be able to sell this much more, but there's going to be a shortage. Like,
it's weird news. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like, who's going to get the console?
The one thing I will say this is a win for them is they can still say they're still the top selling next gen console.
Yeah,
they can still say that.
True.
Facts, man. I'm an Xbox guy, but numbers are numbers.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing too, the other factor too is that, we've had this conversation before. However, this thing I'm about to mention, I put it on the Instagram for the Gamers for Life Instagram. Check it out, follow it. But I would absolutely consider buying a PlayStation 5 if the games that I would want, or the creators making the games that I would want, i.e. Hideo Kojima and Silent Hills and a Metal Gear Solid game, I would absolutely buy a PlayStation 5. But right now, there's just not enough for me to spend the $5, man.
Speaking of games, I think we called this, and I was like, yeah, it's probably gonna happen. Horizon Zero Dawn got delayed till 2022.
Yeah, it did. Well, I'll do this because we were right.
We're not shitting on Sony like, fuck your delayed game.
Yeah,
but
we're glad because we were accurate.
Yeah, it's I'm a little biased. It's fun being right. It's just really fun. It's just helps me sleep better at night. I'm like, man, I am not stupid. This is awesome.
Yeah. As far as these delays, man, but anyway, as far as for the Sony news, that's that. One thing that I found really interesting / scary. So I know, obviously, Arthur, there's a lot of games coming out that we're excited for. Battlefield 2042 being one of them, except for this quote that EA said this week that definitely made me fear what will become of Battlefields in the future. So according to NME.com, it says here for the title, EA says you should think of Battlefield as a service from now on. Says it's becoming a very normal thing to do, but yearly release schedule for many game series is starting to get phased out. With all that's been announced for Battlefield 2042 recently, maybe fans will have seen this coming, but EA is suggesting that Battlefield should be thought of as a service. End quote.
And this is why we agreed to not pre-order it. That's just like the online meta. I'm not saying if you pre-order that's bad. I'm just saying for like the diehard customers that fall again, because there's like, it's like when it comes to gamers in general.
Yeah.
It's like there's gamers that just play the game. There's nothing else. There's gamers that play like us that play the game. We watch the news.
Yeah.
We want to control where our money goes. We're just a little bit, I don't say informed, but we're more diligent.
Yeah.
And so again, if you're a Battlefield fan, you're like, oh, I saw that trailer, it looks amazing, pre-order it. It's fine, nothing against it.
Oh yeah.
But I would say but again, a good significant customers is like, no, EA needs to learn. I'm gonna buy it, but I'm not gonna pre-order it because so they can't. And again, we've yet to have an article of like Battlefield has blah 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 number of pre-orders. Yep, I'm part of that. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Learn your lesson, and this is why, because as fun as and hyped I am for Battlefield 2042, so much so that again I'm probably gonna play that more than Back 4 Blood, but EA needs to learn, and how we gonna try to teach him this time? Don't pre-order it. And sure enough, an article like this comes out, I'm like, EA, stop being you. Just it's. I feel like there's game companies and there's EA. And they're just on this whole other mental level that it's like Breaking Bad. Jesse Pinkman, they can't keep getting away with this. It's like I would love in my lifetime to see like EA just have an overall of their fucking company and motto and mission.
They're Boyos Hermanos.
Just you know what I mean? Yeah. They gotta keep getting away with this. That's what EA does. They release a game or they show us a game and I'm hyped for it. Like Battlefront. It's like, oh my god, I'm looking for this game. This game's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh hey, guess what? Hey, remember how Mass Effect 2 was a 36-hour game? Well, guess what? In Battlefront 2, you're gonna have to play 40 hours to unlock one character. Fuck.
Well, part of me wonders too, like who thought that would be a good thing to mention to the consumers, like to have as like a news story. What would they think people would be like? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Excited for Battlefield.
See, it's like exactly that's a very good question, because this is just shows again. That's why it shows EA's on a whole other different fucking level where they're so out of touch with their customers.
Yeah,
it's like again, there's a normal game developer, and then there's EA. And it's like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah. And it reminds me too, like, of this next article where they wanted to pull a Rodney Dangerfield because they don't get enough respect. And what I'm talking about...
I was waiting for it. I'm like, it's just a rule that you can't say Rodney Dangerfield without immediately doing his impression.
Oh, absolutely.
You just can't.
Absolutely. And
if you can't do an impression of Rodney Dangerfield, don't talk about Red Dead Redemption. I don't make it the rules.
That's a
we've all agreed as a society. That's a fucking rule.
That's a fair rule there. And what I mean by that, according to VGC, Video Games Chronicle, says here on the title of the article, EA doesn't get enough credit for the way it works with studios as required, according to the company's chief operating officer and chief financial officer, Blake Jorgensen. So it says here, during the publisher's first quarter earnings call on Wednesday, Jorgensen was asked if the recent release F1 2021 was selling as well as expected. Said here in quote, I think we've exceeded our expectations, he responded. There's no negative on F1 team because they're all exceptional. We didn't own the business for that long, and it was more of a case of we could quickly integrate the teams, our marketing and publishing efforts to try and dive that business as fast as we did. That's probably where we might have some questions, and actually, we've well exceeded that. And so to the testament of exceptional game development team that was able to produce the right assets to produce the right marketing materials to help us drive this business and the teams working together. And you know what? I think we don't get enough credit for this. But EA is a bunch of people who really can work well together, and we do a great job of working with other parts of our company. And when we bring in acquisitions, we work well with them. End quote. I'm gonna go to the last part here. Continuing here, it says, end quote. And so I would tell you that the combination of great teams and great marketers is really powerful in this industry, and I think we've been able to prove that, and we can do that across all the acquisitions that we've done in the last 4 or 5 years. End quote. Seems like Mr. Jorgensen doesn't understand the entire history of EA.
Sounds like someone has a case of smelling their own fucking farts. That's how I was like, almost lost it when the title is EA doesn't give enough credit from the studios it acquires. Fuck you. There are dozens of studios that no longer fucking exist because of you.
Yeah.
Again, EA is like Fox. Fox is like, we have a new show. Will there be a season 2? What's that? EA, EA is fucking notorious. EA is founded to a point. EA's foundation is the rubble of studios they have fucking killed.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's buy a studio. Oh my god, you didn't make $2 billion? Cool, guess what? You're fucking fired. EA has killed so many fucking studios, and it's just, I hate them. Yeah. I just hate the phrase. I hate it. Again, the phrasing of this article. Hey, man, these people were fucking over. They're just showing us no respect. I'm sorry, you're fucking used to Stockholm syndrome. You fucking sociopaths.
As his bonus gets direct deposited to him, he's like, dude, "Hey, who deserves more acquisition credit?" Yeah,
it's like what's like, again, not to like bring too much light. Not what's the phrasing? Downplay, not to downplay the Blizzard situation. What, all of a sudden EA thinks they're great because they're not doing what Blizzard's doing with their employees? It's like, that's not a fucking bar. That's fuck you. EA's like, hey, what? We're not sexually harassing the studios. What's their fucking problem?
Right, exactly.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think the one thing I will give EA credit for is listening to customers as far as for like Dead Space, when it came to like the remake, and then not having microtransactions in the remake. I think that is positive.
How long did it take us to fucking get here?
Well, I mean, a lot of leadership was changing around. I know that was one. But it was a learning thing, because I remember reading an article where they said we're trying to listen to the consumers, and obviously I don't know what department that was. It wasn't the FIFA team. That was for fucking sure. But yeah. Oh,
you mean it wasn't the team that requires $22,000 to make your fucking team? Yeah, definitely not those guys. I feel like I always laugh. I'm like, I feel like we never really truly saw modern changes to EA until the mouse got involved. You fucked with Mickey's money? Oh, he's gonna fucking break your legs.
He's like, why is this on the finance channel?
Yeah, like I still remember eating my burger. I just remember going to like my local burger spot. I'm like, oh, why do they have the stock channel on? That's weird. Battlefront's on the news? Whoa. It's like, you fucked with Disney's money? Ooh.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what's happening. Fix it.
Is Bob Eisner still the guy?
I think so.
The only reason I remember Bob Eisner is because he opened. I remember if he this really the nostalgia moment real quick. But if you own the VHS to Cool Runnings, remember he opened the story. He was in this winter jacket and he was next to a bobsled and in the Olympic symbol. He's like, "Hi, I'm Bob Eisner, blah 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 of Disney. We're gonna take you to tell you a story of passion, blah blah blah. Passion, endurance, and an unbound courage. We now present." Cool Runnings, because that was the opening to the movie.
Yeah.
That was the opening to the movie on home video. That's the only reason I know his fucking name.
Nice.
Because back about when he had the VHS, I probably watched that like 10 times.
Oh yeah. Cool Runners.
But yeah, like we joked, it's like EA is like, we learned things. No, Bob Eisner was gonna whip that ass. Like, you didn't learn shit. You were fucking told.
They have a long way to go, and I feel like it's one of those things where, oh man, I don't think the entire organization will ever like be in our good graces because they're just shitty people under those specific leaderships. But
yeah, and unfortunately, as we discussed, the industry is transitioning in a way that is with the AT&T's grab of half of Warner Brothers Studios, with Google getting involved, with Amazon getting involved. It's again, to a lot of people, the gaming industry is not art. To a lot of people, the gaming industry is not a passion or a hobby to give the time and effort to. It's just a fucking paycheck. And it sucks. But upside is when you see shit like this, call it out.
Yeah.
So EA, you don't get enough credit for that. Go fuck yourself.
So speaking of people trying to take things into their own hands, and delivering things that people actually want from the gaming industry, I thought this was a fascinating article. And to me, raised an even bigger question, which I want to ask you in a second here.
Okay.
According to TechSpot.com, says here, Modder creates custom PlayStation 2 handheld using original console hardware. It says Sony's PlayStation 2 looks great as a portable handheld, so it shows a little bit of it on the picture. But it says here, in quote, the journey started years back when Ginger of Oz purchased a used PlayStation 2 on eBay. Having recently completed the portable Wii build, the modder intended to do something similar with the PS2, but ultimately shelved the console until finally deciding to do something about it this year. With renewed determination, Ginger of Oz set with shrinking down the donor's PS2 motherboard as much as possible. Turned to the internet to be found as a handy PS2 trimming guide, but first attempted to result in a disaster. Round 2 fared with much better, allowing him to move forward with the other elements of the build, like a 3D printed shell. It says here, Ginger of Oz also utilized custom circuit boards from PCBWay. Rather than the optical drive, the build runs games from the PS2 memory card over USB. PlayStation Vita buttons were used, and the whole thing was painted black and named the PS2 Eclipse. Says, as you'll see, the project turned out beautifully because it uses original hardware. There's no emulation involved, meaning games just run the way they would on a standard PS2. Fucking bravo. I'm not even done reading this, but makes me want to tear up. It's my favorite console of all time.
We're having a lot of good news today.
Favorite console of all time, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So it says here, let's see. Well, mostly. It says the USB interface is slower than the optical drive, so loading times are a bit longer, and some cutscenes lag a bit. Probably just need a faster interface somehow. But because the chassis is 3D printed, it's familiar rough texture, and there's also the controller bug that still needs to be worked out, but otherwise, it's an excellent build, end quote. So here's... I'm going to go a little rant. So I'm going to warn everybody.
I like these. Drill rants are rare.
I'm going to warn everybody. This is going to be a slight rant before I ask Arthur this question.
Okay. Do it.
PlayStation has made so many handhelds, right? So many handhelds. They've tried so many things. They did the Vita, which, I always joke about with you, is Latin for life, and the life was not very short for the Vita. And they try these things that just don't make sense, especially with this, for the time that Jim Ryan has been in office. just really just sucking in the dollars. Yeah, it's great that they've sold 10 million consoles. How many people are looking for a console? Quite a fucking lot. And then also, more importantly, the games. You know, the games, they're shooting for first-party titles, not really caring about these classic games. We just want the 4K graphics. No, we want great fucking games, and the PlayStation 2 has arguably the largest catalog out of any other console. There's like over 2,000 games on the console, and a lot of them are really fucking good. And imagine if they were to make a handheld dedicated to those specific games, that would eliminate additional issues of playing it on a console. Buy our handheld thing. Buy the PS2 handheld. This is fucking great, dude. They even, it pisses me off because they came out with the PS1 console. Like, they came out with that one where like you plug it in HDMI and all that stuff. They didn't do anything about the PlayStation 2 one. Why?
Yeah, I remember that.
What, like, you know what I mean? Like, why? I would buy that. I would buy that first before buying a PlayStation 5. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know? And part of me is, I pre-ordered the Steam Deck because I think someone's going to try to make something. Probably it's going to be emulation, but they're going to do something trying to have this be on the Steam Deck as far as playing PS2 games. So that just raised my interest. But, and then also to continue my ranty of rantness of people taking things into their own hands for the gamer. You know, we talk about these games that get pushed back, these games that they want to make microtransaction bullshit for games that people, not the core gamers want, you know, but there's certain games that we actually want to be out. You know, obviously Valve doesn't give a shit about Half-Life 3. And they don't even give a shit about a Half-Life HD remake because there are fans that are making an Half-Life HD remake that they approved.
Yes.
I don't know if I should be mad because they approved it or that they didn't want to make it themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's amazing that they did give the approval because that shows me what the future of the industry could be. Like, as far as people that know their shit, they know how to make games. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking make something that people have been asking for generations. Yeah. You know, for a long fucking time.
Decades.
Yeah, practically, decades, right? So it's like, when it comes to like these type of things happening, you know, these modders, these people that they know how to do these things and to deliver content that,
the guy that fixed the GTA servers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you think this is going to be a future trend as far as people like, you know, let's just fucking make the games that people actually want to play?
This may be a future trend potentially because it saves the company money. Like, you know, think of like a movie, like a show. There's a gaming budget. Like things, you know, you can't just poof out of thin air. You got to pay people, right? Yeah. So it's like, again, money. Yeah. So it's like, hey, should we pay these people to do X things, or have have one person spend years doing it? Yeah. The GTA guy, the guy that made GoldenEye in Far Cry 5. Right. All the I was kind of, the reason I was like kind of laughing when you're reading the story, great story, very talented individual. But this being Sony, I'm like, and follow up, they're being sued by Sony.
Exactly. Hey, great job. Hey, so there's a.
So here's
you've been served.
Here's what we call a summons. It's yes and no. Okay, it's again, this is a little bit more of a deep dive, but there is evidence, years of it, to kind of show that. Western wise, like quote unquote West, meaning not Japan. Yeah. The Western developers are a little more lax with their licenses. Like the Knights of the, like, remember, like somebody's redoing all the Knights of Old Republic cutscenes, and Lucasfilms was like, "Cool, yeah, like, hey, we're not gonna fucking sue you." And then someone, remember, and then there was a new thing, like someone's gonna make like remember, it's like someone's making a small Knights of Old Republic game, and then it got the approval from Lucasfilms. So when it comes to licenses, and again, back to your question of, is this going to be a slight new trend? I think
certain areas.
I think yes, but more to the quote unquote West. Yeah. Because arguably Sony and Nintendo are the biggest Japanese developers and companies, right? And both are notorious for shutting shit down.
Oh yeah, Nintendo's nuts,
dude.
Yeah.
Like I guess remember that one tweet by Nintendo UK of like, what's your favorite Nintendo song? And everyone replied with fucking YouTube videos that got pulled down. So it was just like dozens of comments of video not available, video not available, video not available, video not available. So it's like,
yeah, it's like, I wish I could tell you.
yeah, and again, same thing like Sony. Sony showed us, hey, you can take apart your wings. Whoa, you're selling and making your own? Hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Now another example of a great example of people making their license public, Warhammer. Warhammer made their license, like to all their characters, their lore, everything public, and that's why we're seeing like a slew of Warhammer games come out. The kind of new trend is like Warhammer plus this. So for example, I've been playing Vermintide 2 because it's on Game Pass and it's optimized for the Series X. Vermintide 2 is Warhammer plus Left 4 Dead. There was a new game that came out, Hired Gun. I think it's Warhammer 40K Hired Gun. That's Warhammer plus Doom. And there's another one like Scourge or something like that. That's Warhammer plus XCOM. And again, so there's all these, and there's Warhammer Inquisitor is Warhammer plus Diablo. So there's all so again, Warhammer has an amazing, crazy lore.
Wow.
Careful with going down that rabbit hole because it's like a joke of like, oh, what's this Warhammer lore about? 40 hours later, this is fucking amazing. And again, they made their license public, and so you have all these indie or arguably indie developers making dozens of amazing games for characters, worlds, and stories we know and love. I think that's the best. I think that's the best example of making a license public.
Yeah.
And like again, just so what I'm talking about, just to go to any like Steam, Microsoft, or Sony as well, and just type in Warhammer, you're gonna see fucking dozens of games. And you're throwing it, and the reason is again, it's not the same studio making it. It's because their license is open and free.
Yeah.
And it was such a good fucking decision.
Yeah.
So again, slowly this will become the trend again in the Western world. Again, the reason why I think it will be again money. As we could say like, oh wow, they're listening to the gamers, and again, hey, GTA is like, hey, we make like $1 billion like every other month. You want to just cut this guy a $10,000 check for fixing your servers? Yeah, fuck it, chump. I wipe my ass with that. You know what I mean? So and so again with these talented modders, like there's even that new game. Oh fuck! I forget the name of the game. Not New World. That's the MMO by Amazon.
Yeah.
Something World or something like that. Where it's a new fledged game that was built as a mod from Skyrim.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's getting really good reviews.
Wow.
A little buggy, but not as buggy as actual fucking Skyrim was.
Is it a PC title?
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah. Well, yeah, PC for sure. Console.
I'll yammer as you search that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's to me this is such an interesting thing, especially for a company as big as Valve giving the green light on a Half-Life 2 HD remake because they're too fucking lazy to do it and don't want to do it, and they want to focus on the Steam Deck. Because they saw the numbers, how the Steam Deck or how the Nintendo Switch, did 89 million in sales, outselling the 360 and the PlayStation 3. I guess they want to do the Steam Deck to combat against that. I don't know. I'm still confused on the reasoning to do it, regardless of like watching like Gabe Newell talk over himself. But yeah, man, it's like it's nice to see like gamers like, okay, let's just do it since they won't. Like I just love that attitude. But like you said, as far as a money thing, it makes sense to outsource, but all the other consequences that come along with it, that's kind of where I feel like maybe those people will be liable. But just in general, I would love for Sony to say, you know what, that's a good idea. I'll cut you a check for this thing, and we're actually going to make a PS2 handheld. Like, I would fucking love that.
Don't hold your breath.
I know, seriously.
Forgotten City.
Oh, okay.
Forgotten City is the game that's making headway because it was built as a mod.
Free to play or?
I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
But again, back to like this whole modding thing. That so many games exist because that like Dota Dota existed because that was a mod of Warcraft 3. And so many fucking games exist because of a mod from CSGO. No, HalfLife.
Yeah.
I have it backwards. CSGO. Sorry, Counter-Strike, not CSGO. That's like a sequel. Counter-Strike started as a mod from HalfLife. I think. Yes. And again, props to all you talented fuckers out there. They're just like
seriously
doing all this crazy shit.
Y'all absolutely deserve this. So congrats to y'all.
Yeah, I'm still, you know, I'm still figuring out why my PC does certain things. And my most clever shit with PC is, I open Task Manager.
I want to Control Alt Delete. What?
Side note, I don't know what it is about Windows, where like Windows is freezing and being stupid, but the second you press Control Alt Delete, even before you open Task Manager, it just gets the shit together. Like, oh, the boss is looking. Oh, fuck out. It's like, hey, why is Chrome not responding? Control Alt Delete. Oh, I'm sorry, boss. Here's your YouTube. Here's your Netflix.
It's like they wake up or something.
I don't know what it is. It's like the computer wakes up. But again, thankfully, this is not the end of talented individuals putting their talent not only to good use for themselves, but for the benefit of others. And I hope sooner than later we see this being more and more of a trend. And again, if I can just sell this to AAA companies, opening line, it saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, and I hope there's a way where they allow people to donate to these folks, because God knows how many hours it's going to take to do this Half-Life remake.
It's like that thing we mentioned, that Kickstarter that turns your Xbox Slim. It's like a semi quote unquote portable console with the small TV that attaches to it. And again, we have still yet to hear word that Xbox is fucking suing them.
Right.
Dude. Right. If that were to, if someone make a TV screen attached to your PS5, shut it down. Shut it down. It's gone.
It wouldn't even been able to close because it's like all wavy.
Dude, and again, to go back to like Nintendo, like Preston mentioned when he was last on, at like sanctioned fucking tournaments for your game, they don't allow certain emulators and mods. A tournament that the community made for your fucking game.
Right.
And you were like, no, you can do that. Fuck you, then you do a tournament. I just, again, that's why, again, there's things I like about Nintendo, and there's things I like about Nintendo and Sony, but I just hate how fucking tight they are with their licenses, their trademarks, and their copyrights. Yeah. Even right now, when I went to like Google Forgotten City, the game I was talking about, that's a mod from Skyrim.
Yeah.
We just mentioned here Knights of Old Republic cinematics in Unreal 5 will make you pine for when Star Wars was good. And that's exactly what I was talking about, how somebody's redoing all the cinematics for Old Republic in Unreal 5, and Lucasfilms gave them a thumbs up. And it's like, how about you fucking do it? Or turn this into, again, do like what Warhammer did, be a little lax with your licenses, and again, to what matters for them, make money.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Can you imagine Knights of the Republic and Unreal 5? Okay, for those of you that have not seen what Unreal 5 is capable of, just watch one YouTube video of it, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's the Unreal 5 is really pushing the boundaries. Unreal 5 is pushing the boundaries of gaming. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that, because I feel there's been a plateau as far as it's like, I remember when it was like the 3 to the 4, where you're like, yeah, this looks better. Yeah. And then 4, and then the 5 to the 1 to the Series X, you're like, yeah, it feels better.
Dude, oh my God. What's so funny about Unreal 5 is you look at Unreal 5 as the newest engine, and then you look at Fallout 76, and you're like, these came out like only like 3-4 years apart. What the fuck? But with Unreal 5 though, it's like the technology curve. How like the time it's taking for technology to advance is shortened. What I mean by that is like technology advances, then it plateaus for a while, and then advances again. But what's happening is the time between plateauing and spiking again is shortening with every not only every decade, but arguably every generation.
Yeah.
And again, but if I know 5 is this plateau for a while, I'm okay with that.
Seriously.
It's nuts.
That's going to be very exciting for these future titles, especially the ones that we're waiting for, like Gear 6 and all that stuff. So we shall see. That's all I had here for good old Gamers for Life. Was there anything else, maybe like anything coming out soon? We still don't have a release date for Halo Infinite, which I don't know why, but
not to go too much into it, but when we were mentioning updates with Blizzard, with the whole Blizzard situation, I forgot to mention now, also real quick, game journalists are being ousted as well, because turns out that when people working at Blizzard found that they can't go to HR, they can't go to their supervisor, they can't go to their executive, people went to game journalists and was like, write about this is fucking happening, and the responses again were just as shitty as the execs. So now I know there's one game journalist that was ousted, and there's probably gonna be more. There's probably gonna be more, so we'll follow that of again just unfortunately expanding of how many fucking people knew.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I forgot to mention with the updates. I mentioned Coke and the sponsorships. The sponsorships pooled.
Yeah.
Good. But again, game journalists are being held accountable. Also good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, the Eternal City, that tier thing. No, not too much.
Cool.
I know there's rumors, but again, I don't speak to those.
Yeah.
As Drell slowly turning to my side, you just keep getting burned by these rumors, man.
Yeah, I just put in a big ol' eye rolling emoji for that story with Hideo Kojima. So for those who don't know, which is probably 99% of you, as far as like what am I talking about? Essentially, there was an quote unquote an close insider that states that Silent Hill and Metal Gear games will be announced by Sony soon, and Hideo Kojima is involved. So, and then also some people were like, "Oh, that might be true because they just came with some Silent Hill merch, some sweaters in the middle of the summer."
Yeah, that was my response. Is like, that was my response. Is they just dropped new limited edition? I don't know if limited edition, but brand new Silent Hill hoodies, and I'm like, in August?
It's like, that's odd.
Okay. I'm sure marketing really fucking thought that through.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground. If it's official, then damn it, we're gonna have a crazy episode. But I'm gonna keep my eye roll emoji rolling.
I like how I used to say. I like how I used to say there was a Kojima rumor every like 3 months. Now I feel like there's a Kojima rumor like every 3 episodes.
I just want people to stop because I feel like it's making Kojima like look bad, but Kojima's like, I'm literally not doing anything.
Oh yeah, and an update on that story. Again, like I said, the Instagram, like we said, there's a lot of stories we can't post. Again, following a bye week, But yeah, Kojima's like, yeah, I don't like the social media crap because he's like, I have nothing to do with this. It's like, hey, you know those like arguably quote unquote years worth of rumors. He's like, that's not me. So again, that's why when it comes to Kojima, I'm just like, whatever, dude. Because again, I've been burnt so much. I'm over it. Drell's but Drell still has hope.
I have hope.
I applaud you. Hope. I applaud. I'm not
applaud myself.
Sure.
But yeah.
Q 2 more weeks, or Drell's like, another fucking rumor.
I have hope.
It just again that phrase of like, at least when it comes to Kojima specifically, that phrase I've heard so many times. Industry insider claims.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
It's like, cool. Someone claimed I lost weight. Fuck you, you're lying.
By cownews.com, a very
very
reputable website.
Breaking news: Croatia today.
All right, let's wrap it up. But all right, folks. Well, this is gonna wrap up episode 45 here of the Gamers for Life podcast. Each and every Saturday, discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Terrell, with my amazing co-host Arthur Thomas.
That's me.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.